Ladies and gentlemen, we have just lost cabin pressure. I'm watching this video. It's called Forgotten Ancient Technologies, Atmospheric Electricity, Vimanas, and More, Part 22, uh, on New Earth's channel. This was just uploaded very recently. Okay, and there's all kinds of stuff in here. Electric cars in the turn of the century, the last century, and all kinds of things. Some of it's Vimanas and ancient India is right up until, more recent times. But that's not what this is about.
As you can see, they're good
It's coming up here.
sized vessels. Although to us it may seem that they were kind of
It describes something that
lightning solution.
It describes something that I've kind of figured out on my own for battling back Morgellons and the fibers, and where I, have the most issues with them being, my chest and the center line of my body, really, my chest, my stomach, my along my spine, especially at the top of my spine, at the base of my skull, and the back of my head. That's the central point, and from there you just that's the heaviest point where it seems like these invisibly fine fibers come off. But and the fibers can be burned. I've noticed you can't really see them. The hair changes a little bit. My hair does, but you can't see the fibers themselves that I'm burning. The hairs will kind of still be there after several burnings, but the fibers keep coming out, and you can't see them, but you can burn them, and that's how I know they're there. But anyway, that's a different story a little bit. I was just, getting rid of the Morgellons this way. Okay, Morgellons is this fiber, it's coming off. That's what I've determined. But there's been some talk about Morgellons being older than some recent chemtrail phenomenon thing. Morgellons has been around for a long, long time, and I've been coming to that conclusion also, having it. And I've also put together the powers that be know this, and they've discovered how to enhance the Morgellons, how to have it age the population faster than they normally would. And because the symptoms of Morgellons are across the board, it's like anything and everything that you could possibly imagine seems related to it. It has a symptom that happens before the onset of anything: cancer, COPD, asthma, psoriasis, anything. So anyway, continuing on.
For the temples, this wasn't their main function, it seems, for the people who were using them at that time. According to contemporary sources, they were used for holy fire. Now, I personally don't really understand. Was the holy fire from Jerusalem kept in such vessels? Was the liquid of the milk bowls activated by that holy fire? That special miracle fire with
Check
which
this guy
people
out.
wash their beards and hands and faces, and it doesn't burn them in the first few minutes after it appears in a miraculous way in Jerusalem. So, are these vessels being lit up from that fire, or was this like a name used for any holy, like sacred fire?
This is the first I've heard of anything like this. Well, I did hear on a thing about voodoo. They were in Africa, and there was a voodoo tradition of getting evil spirits out of your skin, and these young men were jumping across a large bonfire and then kind of like, half rolling in the fire, quickly so as not to really get burned, but so the flames went all over them. And I thought, that'd be a good way to get fibers off of me. And whip out the big lighter, and like, what do you know? They're super flammable. And after burning a lot of them off, my tension is reduced. If I burn it off near a joint, the joint will usually pop and crack and feel more relaxed. My headache goes away. My ears ringing subsides somewhat. I just feel like the frequencies are not getting me as much. Okay, so let's go back to Jerusalem even.
Because the substances which were put in these vessels were also magical substances. They were salty.
It's glitchy, slow, and annoys the crap out of me. You know, the internet was faster and better 10 years ago than it is now. 15 years ago, even.
Substances. They were sold in, as far as I understand, dedicated shops for such things, and there were quite few of them. But subsequently, with
I'd
the
never heard
church
of.
reforms and
I've never heard of anything like that. Seriously. And it's done amazing help for my skin and the hairs on my face. Like a couple years ago, when the Morgellons was really kicking bad, uh, the hair would barely grow. There was bald patches all along my upper lip and in the hollows of my cheeks, and it would be real fuzzy right here, and then nothing right here. And since I've been burning it and wearing the copper, it's toned down all the weird fuzzy hair, skin crawling feelings that happen around your neck, and but not the back of my head. So I mean that's why I have this copper mesh inside my hat. You probably see it's turned it green, kind of, because when copper reacts with the acids and the bacteria or funguses or viruses, it reacts, kills the fungus, virus, or bacteria, and the reaction is, you know, produces the green color, which copper produces when it reacts with an acid, and the acid is in the bad stuff. So when it kills it, when it reacts with it, it kills it. That's why copper is excellent for your health, and you should wear it touching your skin at all times. But the burning off of the fibers, if that's taken from ancient Hebrew, uh, unknown Hebrew, I guess, because I mean, what do we really know about Hebrew? Uh, it's an old language that some of the texts of the Bible are translated from, as far as common knowledge, as I know. It's related to Aramaic, and the languages are very similar. Um, where do they get their traditions like that, though? We don't know. Kabbalists and Kabbalah. Masonry is Kabbalah, from what is said by Manly P. Hall and others. So they're like ancient studies of numbers. But anyway, they have traditions for a reason. They have, real specific traditions, probably really close. Ay, ay, ay. And those are for a certain purpose. I mean, you wouldn't, it wouldn't be just symbolic, hundreds, if not 1,000 years ago, or perhaps longer, to take a torch and burn them quickly all over your body and your face for some reason. When oh, this serves no purpose and it just doesn't harm them if they do it quickly, and it's just symbolism of purifying and fire. Is it symbolism or is it literalism? Purify with the fire, not just metals and ores and symbolically yourself. Yourself. Literally. It works. And it's strange. I know it works for the Morgellons. The fibers come out of your skin, whether you want to believe they're there or not. They do. They're there. They cause issues of all kinds. Most people go to their doctor, or they just deal with it and take over the counter things or whatever. They do hardcore drugs or whatever they got to do to get by, or they're alcoholics most likely, or they think it's a mental problem and they go see psychological help and get on some pills, and then they feel better because doctors know what's going on, and so they give you some pills that are going to counter some of whatever problems you're experiencing. They give you something that's going to help counter that, and then you think they're helping you while they allow this all to be rolled out upon you. The stuff comes out of your skin. and it causes all kinds of problems in that issue. It fills your body, your skin, your tissues, your tendons, your hair. It causes distraction, irritation, fatigue, soreness and stiffness in the joints, um, tinnitus, and it causes you to be highly interactive with electrical fields. And then they're setting up the cell towers, the 5G towers. They're flying planes at low elevation continuously over all the populated areas, beaming the ground with, high frequency electricity that interacts with the fungus that grows through your body. And the fungus makes a great antenna array because it feeds and lines up the particles. I mean, it grows off the chemtrail particles that are in every cell of your body. Nanoparticles are so small. There's lots of them in every cell. And electricity frequencies can, the wavelength can interact with a real physical object. We know this. That's how radios work. That's why your radio picks up the signal when you're driving in your car and you can hear it. Because that antenna has a distance of turns on its receiver, and the antenna picks up the signal. The wavelength corresponds with the receiver, and you get the signal. Well, high frequency cell towers, low flying planes beaming, their wavelength corresponds with the length of the chemtrail particles, and they're in your body. So they'll align in a certain way. On top of that, the fungus grows fibers, and the fungus feeds on those particles. So it's conceivable that the fungus is aligning the particles by growing along your body's natural pathways, which would be your sinuses, your tendons, your veins, your nervous system. The fungus overlaps all of that with barium, strontium, and aluminum nanoparticles that are all the same size, so they're all antennas that pick up the same signal. It aligns them all through your body, and then, I guess the since electricity, AC pulses back and forth, DC goes one direction. I'm thinking this is some sort of DC pulsed frequency, and it grows out of your skin, and it gives you all kinds of issues. But I don't think that's the full reason for it. It's not just to make people sick, but it does that. They want you sick but alive, diseased and dying, hopeless but trying for some reason. Maybe to produce that endorphin in your brain that the fungus likes. Yeah, let's make them miserable, and then we'll feed off of the back of your head. You know, this is uh, this is right here. It's referred to as the mouth of God. I've discovered in some recent searching, and that seems to be where the Morgellons fiber is centered at. But all along my back, if I'm burning it with a lighter, this is where it'll flare up. It sounds like a campfire crackling back there sometimes. I can't see it very well. I videoed it, and it does look strange. It's like the flame is much bigger than it should be. But I can hold the flame against my lower back and try and burn the hairs there, and the flame pushes away from my lower back, and I can't even feel the heat from it. I'm afraid I'm going to burn myself, so I don't hold it there too long, but I can light it for several seconds and hold it right there where I know it's a half an inch from touching me, and I know the flame is bigger than that, so the flame is just stopping right there, like it can't penetrate this layer, not even the heat, because I'm not feeling the heat, or apparently my nerves don't work there, but it's not burning me either, so it's not so much a nerve thing. Anyway, burning the fibers out. I guess that's what this is about. I can't believe that shit. That's just crazy.
Substances. They were sold in, as far as I understand, dedicated shops for such things, and there were quite few of them. But subsequently, with the church reforms,
Holy fires. All right, guys. Peace out.